The following video is classified as M. It contains middle-level coarse language. LJ Operations recommends viewing by a mature audience. It's 2:30, good afternoon, and welcome to LJ News. It was meant to be another normal day in Californian suburbia for Charlotte Laws until she received a call from her daughter, Kayla. She was absolutely distraught, Charlotte recalls from that fateful phone call in October 2011. I could hear just how much pain she was in. Kayla had tearfully rang her mum in distress after being informed that intimate photos that she had taken in the privacy of her bedroom had been leaked on isanyoneup.com alongside her name and all social media profiles. When speaking to her mother, Kayla insisted she had never shared those photos with anybody, and yet there they were, with all her personal information set on this hate-fueled forum where people were encouraged to pour bile over those pictured by the website's creator, Hunter Moore. I knew I had to get that picture down, Charlotte tells metro.co.uk. Something like that can ruin someone's life. That can go on 100 different websites in a really short period of time. My daughter was getting so upset, she didn't have the ability to fight this herself. Someone else had to fight for victims. It was going to be me to face down Hunter Moore. IsAnyoneUp.com emerged from the primordial ooze of primitive days of social media in 2011, with 20-something party prowler Hunter Moore having initially bought the domain for club promotion. When he was struggling to share nudes of someone he was sleeping with to some of his cronies, he used the website to post the photos, and eventually, others started sharing nudes they acquired from other people without their consent, and often with malicious intent. It was only after Moore shared snaps of lead singers from bands popular with scene kids, a subculture which fused the rainbows and raves of happy handcore with the music and fuck you attitude of emo and punk, that saw IsAnyoneUp.com achieve a cult status amongst factions of the web. Now, everyone is going to be made aware of Moore and the website's grimy history in Netflix's new documentary, The Most Hated Man on the Internet. But it wasn't just the explicit material that kept the website's 350,000 unique daily visitors clicking on it. It was Hunter Moore that was the driving force behind the website's popularity, peddling his revenge porn to the masses. Moore didn't shy away from his ethically abhorrent behavior. He was proud of it, encouraging fans to pile on the people, mostly women, in the website's comments section, claiming he started the site because some bitch broke his heart. He launched irreverent hashtags over the content of certain naked photos he received, such as hashtag NBHNC, short for no butthole, no care, that quickly gained traction on Twitter. Moore even bragged about the amount of hate he received, with requests to take photos down being posted on the daily hate section of IsAnyoneUp.com. He claimed IsAnyoneUp was protected by the same laws as Facebook, which meant he was under no obligation to remove any content from his site. He often replied to cease and desist letters with LOL. In other instance, Moore responded to one request about removing photos with a picture of his own penis. It's 2012. It's only a matter of time that someone monetized this, and I was the first one to do it, Moore said nonchalantly during a TV interview. Charlotte saw how little Moore really cared about the emotional distress he was inflicting on people when she contacted him to see if he could remove Kayla's pictures. After brusque messages were exchanged, Moore merely stopped responding to Charlotte. The website was just disgusting. It was full of despicable content, Charlotte says. It was a space for haters, trolls, and misogynists to torment women, and they were contacting and sending these nudes over to whoever they could. This website was about driving people to suicide. While Charlotte was revolted, Moore's demeanor earned him thousands of bizarrely obsessed fans that referred to themselves as the family, a la Charles Manson. Moore was referred to as the father, with fans desperate to be ingratiated in Moore's inner circle. One girl brushed her teeth in her own urine and feces to get his attention. Another devotee wrote, "If you had AIDS, I'd still fuck you just to say I have AIDS and that I got AIDS from you." Moore knew he had this unique and coveted power. In a webcam chat, which he recorded and posted on a porn site, he insisted one girl put a mobile phone alongside numerous other objects in her anus, which she obliged. There's a plethora of motives for why Moore did what he did, explains Claire McGlynn, a professor of law at Durham University who specializes in image-based abuse. Moore shared those images to create a bond, she explains to Metro.co.uk. This was less about revenge, but boost their status amongst a group of men and for Moore to raise his masculinity. He used his notoriety as an important aspect of his abuse. Moore's internet infamy saw his antics recovered in the media, seeing him land somewhat fawning interviews with high-profile magazines such as Rolling Stone and Vice, which had more than just a touch of admiration from his outlandish behavior. Still on the party scene, Moore regularly shared photos of drugs, DJ sets, and women, with one interviewer recalling hearing Moore getting one groupie to snort a line of cocaine off his penis. Television interviews soon followed, with an appearance of The Anderson Cooper Show, in which he was confronted by two victims who had been leaked on his site, bringing further notoriety. Moore's abrasive, internet-forged persona may not have been well received by viewers watching at home, but the show saw IsAnyoneUp.com go mainstream. Moore was now receiving thousands of submissions a day. Teachers, nurses, elderly women, even the paraplegics' nudes were leaked on the site, all with their contact details attached. Charlotte soon learned that the police had no interest in helping her remove Kayla's pictures from IsAnyoneUp.com. 5 years before the dawn of the #MeToo movement, victim blaming was rife, and in this Wild West era of the internet where seemingly anything goes, legislation was limited. While revenge porn was not illegal at the time, hacking was, and as Kayla was adamant that she had not shared her intimate photo with anyone, Charlotte insisted they went to the police about what was happening. The female, middle-aged police detective victim blamed, and that really didn't help Kayla, who was blaming herself so much already, Charlotte recalls. "I told detectives that if Kayla had taken a Polaroid and put it in a dresser drawer and somebody broke in and stole the picture, would you have told Kayla she shouldn't have taken a picture, or would you do your job? I think that hit a nerve." The police agreed to file a report about the hacking, but unconvinced that they were really going to do much to help. Charlotte decided to take matters into her own hands and set on creating a dossier of victims from IsAnyoneUp.com to give the FBI, eventually presenting them with a file that was several inches thick. Compiling evidence was really depressing. It felt like running a suicide hotline, if I'm honest, Charlotte says. I was the one calling all those women, and a lot of time they weren't even aware they were on this site. They were hysterical, they were freaked out, they were in tears. The only positive was I'd been through it at this point, and could give them some advice and support. They often felt like they couldn't speak to family or friends about it, so I was there for them. However, Charlotte found herself facing Moore's wrath as the family got wind of her investigation and targeted her. "I started getting death threats," she explains. "I was being bombarded with computer viruses. It was scary. I didn't know who the people making the death threats were. I didn't know what they were capable of. Hurting women was just theirs and Moore's business model. My husband begged for me to stop for our safety, but I was completely obsessed with the cause at this point. I wasn't going to stop." Charlotte was no longer alone in her quest to bring IsAnyoneUp.com down, with Moore's race media profile alerting him to others who found his behavior despicable. Tech entrepreneur James McGibney first saw Moore after his appearance on The Anderson Cooper Show and started investigating his character. I went to his site and within 10 seconds on being his anyoneUp.com, I just knew I really fucking hated that guy. It became my laser-focused mission to completely destroy his life, he explains to Metro.co.uk. The vendetta against Moore was personal for former Marine James, who had grown up in abusive households. To help other children who found themselves in a similar situation, James had set up Bullyville.com, a platform to offer support for victims, and he hoped to use the site to close his anyone up. Sometimes you need to be a bully to beat a bully, James explains, and I was prepared to do what I had to shut Moore down. James decided to try and befriend Moore and pretend he wanted to advertise on Is Anyone Up to understand the business model, with the two regularly communicating. As I researched the site, I could tell some of the girls were underage and Moore needed to take some of the content down, James says. He said he wasn't going to take anything down as he needed content, even when he got wind of the FBI investigating him. That's when I realized what was going on with Hunter was that he didn't care about destroying women's lives. He just cared about content. He was an unpathetic asshole.